So it seems like the popular thing amongst Christian creators is to ask atheists a variety of different questions.
All right, I've got 3 more questions for atheists.
Yeah, exactly like that. But the thing is, you know that the questions that they're asking aren't really serious. They don't actually care about the answer because they are all leading questions. So let's see how he does it.
Here is number 1. Do you believe that our beliefs ought to be proportioned to the evidence?
So, of course, most people are going to say yes to this question because obviously our beliefs should have some evidence to back them. Now, I'm not sure that we actually need to have proportional evidence for everything because there's some things that you're just never going to get a proportional amount of evidence for. And then we do have things that are just taken on faith, and that's perfectly okay. Now, the problem I see here is that often we think about evidence in an incorrect way. We take more of a scientific view on this. And yeah, that's great for science, but it's not really great when it comes to philosophy or history because we have different types of evidence when we get into those subjects. But it's really obvious what he's trying to do here. He's trying to make the person say yes because that is the logical answer, or at least it seems logical at, first bite.
Number 2 is, if we could verify that some miracle actually occurred, would that give us a reason to think that God exists?
So this is a massive what if, and the end answer is really no. Just because a miracle could happen, if we could actually verify that a miracle did happen, it does not mean that God exists. It just means that a miracle happened. There could be a variety of different reasons why that miracle occurred. There could be a variety of different deities that could claim stake to that miracle. Now, the problem is that when we're looking at miracles, at least historical miracles, we cannot verify that they happened. And the reason for that is by the very nature of how we actually conduct history. History is based on probability. So anything is possible, but not everything is equally probable. When we look at a miracle specifically, we understand that that is the least likely thing to occur. So it's the least probable thing to occur. And that's just by very definition. If it was more likely to occur, then it wouldn't be a miracle. So really, when we look at this question, it really begins to fall apart because there's not a lot of ways to actually verify miracles, especially not historical miracles. And just because a miracle might be able to be proven true, that doesn't mean that God exists. They're not connected.
All right, number 3, and this is my final question. If you're an atheist that cares about truth and thinks that we should proportion our beliefs to the evidence, but then you also think that we've got this unique way to verify whether or not God exists through studying miracles, how many of the millions of miracle reports throughout history have you actually deeply investigated?
This is how we know for certain that these were all leading questions, that he doesn't actually care about the answers. He's just trying to make an argument. And that argument utterly fails. Because here's the thing. Even though we might have a record of a miracle, just because someone reports a miracle doesn't mean that it's a verified miracle. It means that someone has reported it. And we've already talked about the history of this. In historical research, we cannot confirm, we also can't deny, but we cannot confirm that a miracle happened. So even if we have a million reports of miracles happening in the past, it doesn't matter because it doesn't actually say that any of those miracles happened. Again, by definition, a miracle is the least likely thing to occur, so historically, we cannot confirm them. His entire argument is based on this false premise. Now, honestly, none of this is really surprising because he's been very honest about one thing. He doesn't take atheism seriously. If you don't take atheism seriously, you're not going to ask serious questions. You're not going to have a serious discussion. You're going to make bad faith arguments just like this. And honestly, we can do better than that.